many things that I'm very proud of. I have a son, I have a couple of grandkids, but one of the biggest things growing up, and as I was telling Olga a little bit earlier, the story was that they said that I had a learning disability, and that disability was called dyslexia. So that sort of did not give me the opportunities for a lot of folks, and they didn't think that I would be able to accomplish so much. And the reason I'm saying that is not to impress you, but to impress upon you the abilities and capabilities that you have within yourself. That's the most important thing. Believing in yourself, doing what you love to do, and staying in school. As a student of life, I would say, I've done everything. Like the highest education I have was I did go to college. I went to the JCs all around our area, and I was able to learn about the body. And I'm going to lead into that because one of my passions is working out, and one of my passions is teaching individuals how to work out properly. But without learning the skill sets that I have and being comfortable with them, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish things. So, with that being said, learning how to be comfortable with yourself, not listening to the negativity in the world or from other individuals saying that you can't do this, when in your heart you know you can do this. And that's the most important thing. I now have developed two techniques of body work.
But can we start first? Can we continue from the bottom, which is where we're starting? These are my high school kids, and this is when they are learning or they're not learning, right? Yes. And because you have to discover your learning style, and that's one of the amazing things that attract me to Joe. That I'm like, you got to talk to my kids, because he said, I didn't go to college. Well, I did go to college, but I went to so many colleges because he didn't think he had what it takes. He didn't know his learning style.
Yes, absolutely. So going through high school, I was an athlete. And that's what helped me get through school, through teachers being patient with me and helping me understand how I could learn. It wasn't until I went to junior college to where they took me into a class and they sat me down, and I had to read some things and it didn't make sense. But when they put numbers in front of me, I was able to retain a chain of numbers 13 strings long. So they would ask me, put all these numbers back in order. I was able to do that. So I had to learn a different learning style. And that's what it was. I didn't listen to the people that say I couldn't do it, but I always listened to the people that said I could do it. With that, I was able to graduate. I was able to learn anatomy and biology, which at this point in my life, going from high school, moving on to get jobs, I was able to, go ahead.
So you, so you went to, before they test you, you were in high school, you went to different colleges, and then you said, okay, it's high school or college, school's not for me. So I'm gonna go to work in the construction work. And you did that route for how many years, and what made you get out of the construction world?
I got into construction in my 20s, and I got out of construction in my 30s. And the reason that I got out of construction is because I was noticing other individuals, other men, that their bodies were breaking down. Mm-hmm. So I knew I didn't want to go down that road.
There's construction, there's money. They like, especially the guys, those big guys that I have here that are strong. They're like, come in construction, work hard, you make a lot of money. Yes, but your body can only go so long.
Exactly. And once I noticed that, I focused more on my skill set to learn. I applied that information, and as I was able to learn how to learn better and faster. And I understood the more that I learned, the more money I would make. Because being in construction, I was able to build a house. I was able to put in windows. I was able to do a roof. Mm-hmm. And you made so much money. But then when you learned how to manage several houses, when you learned how to manage to put on several roofs, you quadrupled your income. And that's the main thing. Apply yourself to what you know, and you could expand off of that no matter what anybody says. And that's what I did. I made a lot of money in construction. I was very happy. But then I learned how to do multiple jobs in construction to make me more money.
Mhm. So your body was breaking down. Well, you said, I don't want to look like that, which is an awesome way. You got to learn from other people's experience, especially if it's, like drugs, for example. You want to learn from them. What are the consequences of drugs? What are the consequences of bad decisions of not going to school or in this case, you saw the consequence was your body breaking down and you wanted to move on. So this is when you went back to JC, and this is when they test you.
Yep.
And they find out that you learn in a different style. And then what happens once you find out how you learn?
When I found out how I could learn, that just expanded my world times 100. It really did. Then I learned how to communicate to others more efficiently. And not only to communicate to other people, but to communicate to myself. That was the most important thing, because it's all about you guys. You guys are the future. So the better you can communicate, like to yourself, telling yourself, I'm okay. I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm okay with what I'm doing because I'm still learning. Once I learned how to do that, I started in a massage therapy business. I started at a physical therapy department at Sequoia Hospital. That transitioned me to help work with physical therapists. I learned what they were teaching me. I actually developed 2 techniques which I patented, which would be unheard of with somebody of my skill set, they said. I took those 2 techniques and I was able to go to the Olympics.
How do you call those techniques and what are they about?
The techniques, one technique is therapeutic reposturing. I would work with individuals with their posture. Tall people that hunched over.
Me.
Yep. And nowadays everything's on our phone, so our shoulders are put forward, our heads are down. But once we open up and take yourself long, become more flexible and more mobile, that's when you're going to be able to literally grow.
So right now, this is perfect for this time because all of them are here. All of us are here.
Yes.
So you recommend to shoulders out, widen your, what would be, given some tips on how can improve, like at this moment, they're sitting down, what can they do?
In this moment right here, all you're going to have to do is sort of sit up in your chair. You take your shoulders, push them forward, up, rotate back, and then you're going to be in this position here. This is going to allow your body to intake more oxygen, literally. So if I'm like this, I take a breath, that's as far as I go. But if I do this, I take that big of a breath. The basic law is more oxygen in, more energy out. If you did 3 deep breaths every hour just like that, you're going to be amazed at the end of the day how much energy you have left. So these techniques that I learned and patented.
So that's one, sorry.
That's one. As I transitioned from the medical community, therapeutic reposturing at the hospital, I did deep muscle realignment. And then I transitioned to athletes. And then I started working I was very fortunate. I got involved with the NFL. I worked with Randy Cross way back in the day, if anybody can remember that. That was with the 49ers. I was able to work with the Oakland Athletics. I worked with just a couple of Giants and then a couple of hockey players and some basketball players, which were quite amazing. That's the expansion part. That's the growing part. And that's what you're capable of doing right now as you're growing up. Stay positive. Listen to the people that excite you. Listen to the people that encourage you to do well. That's the key. So I developed therapeutic reposturing, deep muscle realignment.
What's deep muscle realignment?
Deep muscle realignment is to enable an athlete to be more functional in his sport. So I can take the thought process from a football player, a linebacker that's going to be short and going front and taking lateral movements, as opposed to a baseball player that's going to be standing in a baseball box, lifting the bag and coming into the batting position from one place, not moving around, running around the field. So it's applicable to many sports. And that's taking yourself and don't think in here. Think out here.
Outside the box.
Outside the box. Give yourself the opportunity. That's the biggest thing with deep muscle realignment. And that is actually the technique that I was able to take to the Olympics in 1996. I worked with the country of Kyrgyzstan and took care of their volleyball team, wrestling team, boxing team, and swimming team. Those 4 sports. So I was able to apply it by not thinking in the box, but thinking out here on how I could help. After 96 and 97, I was very blessed. I was able to go to China and work with the Olympic gymnastic team of China for a half a month. I was in Beijing at the Olympic Training Center working with the gymnasts. And that was just amazing. But once again, as opposed to thinking in here, you think here. Just give yourself permission to be great. That's really what it's all about.
That's really good. And as a parent, we're always, not always, you want your kids like right after college, you have to, college fund, you got to go to school. Not everybody's ready right after school. But as long as you keep consistent and you keep looking and finding yourself and find your niche, what you're good at, then you'll develop. Because I'm guilty of that. I have four boys, right? And I have a 15 and an 18 and a 20, and I'm like pressuring, and we're not all ready right out of high school. But as long as you keep searching for who you are and what you want, what are you about, what is something when you when you went to the Olympics, were there some commonalities that you see among the athletes? Is there something that stood out in terms of work ethic or struggles? Were you able to talk to any of them or?
Yes, and that's a great question. That is great. The biggest thing that I found out at that level of an athlete, and these are individuals that have trained literally their whole life. I mean, 4 years, 8 years, 12 years to do something. And when they got to another athlete and they were speaking to them, it was total respect. It was respecting one another and what they had to say to each other. Like if it was a boxer, like, how could I make my jab just a little bit better? Okay. If it was going to be a swimmer, how could I bring my arm around to pull the water in so it'll help me go faster? They were not afraid to share their information. Mutual respect. And they respected themselves enough to say, you know what, here, I could still help you. I want to compete against the best athlete in the world. So let's work together to do this together. And that's the best thing, because it was their self-respect and respecting the individual that really gets any person to any level you want to be. Stay with the people that respect you, you will respect them, and we're going to move up. You're going to both get better at what you do, no matter what it is. You can choose to be a garbage man, be a great garbage man. You can choose to be a senator, be a great senator. It doesn't matter. Whatever you choose to do it to the best of your ability. And one thing that I will share, if you don't like doing what you're doing, change it.
Change it.
True story. Like, I have a son, and he would say, Dad, what should I do? And I said, do everything. I go, you want to go get a job? Go get a job. If you don't like that job and you did your best, say, I'm sorry, this is not a good fit for me. You go get another job. Okay? Do what you like to do. Do it to the best of your ability, and you'll always make money and you'll always be happy because you respect yourself and you do what you like to do.
That is the main thing, to be happy. And like I was telling Joe, if when are you going to retire? He's like, I don't know. I love what I do. And that is the key. You have to have passion and love for what you're doing. And like they say, you will never work a day in your life, right? So
Very true.
very true.
Very true. Respect yourself, be happy with what you're doing. And actually, I'm going to give you a little saying that I have. I'll make a copy for you. I have it in my office, and you can share it with your kids.
Okay, great. No, now back to now. So what are we doing in here? What is this place that I'd like to show to them?
Okay.
How did this develop? When did you start it?
That's a good part. I started this gym 1 month before COVID hit.
Wow.
So maybe it was not the best timing in this time in history, but it was excellent for me. And for me, I'm meaning it made me dig deep to what I am passionate about and continue the process to show up every day to do the best I can do. And the reason that I bought the gym is because I want to compete in Olympic lifting. And this is what we were doing this morning. We were training in Olympic lifting to perfect or get better at our lifts. And this is something that we're both passionate about right now. And it's a newfound passion, but you work at it, you do your best, and you have fun. So that's how this whole gym really came apart. It's 6,000 square feet. It's pretty freaking awesome.
Let's see, this is the Olympic platforms right here. I don't know, can you see them?
That's perfect.
Okay. And then we have here.
This is the rig. This rig is about 50 feet long. We have 4 rope climbing sessions. These are GHD machines to do sit-ups on, back rows on. Wow. Over here. And as we're going to come around, we have all of our weights. We have
the weights over here. Very nice, spacious. So it's perfect for Kobe because, as you can tell, it's huge. So people can keep their distance. There's the weights, very organized. The barbells, which is at the wall. And what is this? The loops.
These are rings.
Rings.
These rings are for CrossFit. You can actually jump up, pull yourself up, and it's called the muscle up. So we teach people more gymnastic moves so they can actually do muscle ups to help their bodies get better as well. That's what the rings are for.
And then we have some rowing machines.
Yes.
These are kind of semi-new, but
yeah. I mean, this is one of the best machines that you can ever work out on because it incorporates very many muscle groups. We have actually 2 Olympic rowers that come in. And they call them ergs in the rowing world. That's coming from more of a water sport. It's called crewing. Another sport, if you're interested, look it up. It's great. But those are called rowers or ergs. That's theirs. And then right behind that, you see a red and a green mat. That's where we have, those are judo mats. Oh. So we have a judo class in here, an Olympic judo expert that comes in, Greg Pryor. You can go ahead and Google him. He's pretty awesome. And he's out training right now throughout the United States with other Olympic competitors as well. Mm-hmm. So you can do whatever you want to do at whatever level you want to do it. Just get out of this and get into this. Okay?
I want to show you their picture, which I forgot to upload. This is the technique that he was talking about. Let me see. Hold on, guys. This is, you can Google him. What is it? There.
ylpb.info.
Your life personal best. You can Google it at ylpb.info. So this is, so you can find more information about what it is and all that. And again, all this came out from finding how you learn, and staying passionate about what you want and truthful about yourself, and just wanted to be better,
That's it.
you know.
Wake up every day with something you want to do. That's the most important thing. Don't ask yourself, what am I going to do today? Make a choice and you go do it. Stay positive. Have a plan. Doesn't matter if the plan is this big or the plan is that big. Have a plan. I'm going to get up. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to go to do my homework. I'm going to see what's up for the rest of the day. Have that plan. The more you plan, the better you plan, the better your life is going to be. And it doesn't matter if it's this big or this big.
You know.
Be out here. Make the plan your work your plan.
Great. Well, thank you, Joe. I would really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. There is the logo for the Gym Evolution Performance. If you guys want to check it out, get some information.